Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to another storytime video. It's been a little while since the last time we've done one, and mostly because I've been struggling to figure out what story I actually want to tell. For this video shout out, I'm going to actually be shouting out Sajam. Sajam is typically a fighting game content creator slash streamer. He used to do a lot of commentary in pre-COVID times, but since then he focuses primarily on his platform, from beginner level to more advanced fighting game content. With that out of the way, let's get into the story time. So this story time is about my birthday weekend for when I first turned 21. Ever since I turned 21, I don't really drink much anymore. Most of the time when I do drink, it's because I'm hanging out with friends, and with that, most times the drinking takes place on a golf course. I used to drink a lot before I turned 21 too. I would actually give one of my older homies money, and he would actually hook me up with some good old alcohol. For my 21st birthday, I was still living with my parents, but I had a pretty cool weekend playing with some friends. I had 3 of my very good friends, which are still all my friends to this day, and I was planning on them coming to my parents' house and hanging out for the weekend. Now, the night before, I was working my night shift job. This is back at my old job when I was on nights, so a number of years ago. I got home around 5 a.m., which is pretty normal for me. I hung out with my mom a little bit, chatted, played some video games for a minute, and at about 6 a.m., I got a text saying we're about 2 hours away. And I was like, whoa. I haven't slept since noon the previous day. It took about 4 hours for my friends to drive from their house to my parents' house, and by this time, I'd already been awake for about 18 hours. I wasn't super tired. I was used to staying up till about 10 a.m., so I told my mom they were on their way. My mom actually asked me, like, hey, what are you gonna do? You should probably take a quick nap. But I told her I had some stuff to do before they actually got here, so I started doing some cleaning because I had stuff everywhere, and that took me about an hour, and I decided to do a little bit of editing for the last hour before they actually got here. In hindsight, I wish I definitely listened to my mom and tried to get even a couple hours of sleep, because while this day was awesome, it also sucked from being so sleep deprived. Eventually, after the last hour passed, my friends pulled up, gave them all a hug because it's been more than a while since I last saw them at the time, and they each gave me a gift. First off, the good homie Big Ben. I honestly don't remember what he actually gave me for my birthday, but one friend that I'll be naming Jin gave me a Switch Pro controller so I could absolutely cook him in Super Smash Brothers. And the last homie, which I'll be naming Master Chief, gave me a copy of Monster Hunter Worlds, which I've only sunk in about 4 hours in total in that game, and it's definitely a game I want to get back around to. I definitely appreciate the gifts from the good homies. My mom was cool enough to get some beer for me as part of my present because I asked her to, but we still had a couple things to get from the store ourselves. We got some snacks, soda, some more beer. We checked out the card aisle to see if there was anything good, Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic related. And I don't know if we actually bought anything, but I'm sure we at least checked things out. Because, well, we're fucking nerds. After that, we bounced from the store, we hit up the smoke shop to get some good old leafy greens. And by this time, it was about 1 p.m. Everyone was starting to feel pretty hungry, myself included, and at the same time, I was starting to feel extremely tired, to the point where I was actually getting a little loopy. From the store, we went a couple of streets over to a sushi place where I did something so embarrassing. I was so loopy already that I was starting to order in Japanese, and after I snapped out of it, the waitress definitely gave me a sideways look. Now, for the sushi experience, this was the most we have ever ate as a unit. We all got the all-you-can-eat, and we ordered so many plates. I mean, we ate them all, but we were so stuffed. I've never eaten so much sushi in my life. The sushi was really good, and even though I was so full, I had to have someone pull over to the gas station because I needed some caffeine. I got the biggest damn Red Bull they had and absolutely crushed that thing. At this point, my brain was just shut off. After that, I felt a little bit better, but I was still pretty tired, and we ended up checking out my old local card shop, which is still one of my favorite card shops to this day. I'm sure we grabbed a couple things from there. I'm sure we played a couple of games. After we hit up that card shop, we actually checked out a comic shop that was about 45 minutes away. I grabbed some comics. Myself and Jin grabbed some Funkos because we actually collect them. And we went to a place called Cap'n Games, which is actually a retro game store. I got a couple of things. I don't really remember what I grabbed. I feel like it was a bunch of stuff for PS2. Myself and Big Ben both got a couple of things, and I actually got a copy of Herbs for the Game Boy Advance from my boy Jin, which, if you don't know, it's like a Sims-like game. I don't really remember why I grabbed it for him, but I just did. And after we finished up at Cap'n Games, which I love going to that place, I haven't been in a long while, it was probably about 3 or 4 o'clock, so we started to make our way back to my house. So the shenanigans started to begin. We started drinking, we started playing some games, hanging out, so on and so forth. Now, one thing I need to mention, myself and Jin were the only people that were actually 21. Big Band was 20 and Master Chief was 19, but I told my parents that everyone was older than me. Thankfully, she didn't press me on it, but when we got home, my sister was over. She said happy birthday, and she didn't say anything about Big Band because she knew he and I were already drinking together since we were about 16. But when she saw Master Chief, she had to open her big fucking mouth and go, "Oh, hell no. How old are you?" And I said he was 21. And she kept going and was like, "I'm gonna need to see some ID." And I mouthed to her, "Shut the fuck up." So she backed off the situation and was like, "Nah, I'm just playing." But she backed off, and I don't know how things smoothed over, like nothing happened after that. There was no pressing on the matter. The night just proceeded. So we started cracking some beers. I was saving the blunt that I had for later because my parents didn't know I partook at the time. We had some Kraken, which is one of my favorite spice rums to drink. Love that stuff. And we were just chilling, playing video games. It was a good ass night. It was starting to get a little bit late by now, probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock. And while I was tired for sure, I was also doing good because I was drinking a lot. Master Chief drunkenly pipes up and was saying that he was pretty hungry, and by this time we all were pretty hungry too. And Master Chief was saying he was down to order a pizza. None of us had any complaints. Master Chief is a very generous dude, and even when he's drunk, so we ordered a pizza, and pizza is absolutely one of the best food to have when you're drunk. It's just so good. So after a while later, when my parents go to bed, it was time to light up. Jin was pretty stoked for this because if it wasn't the first time he smoked, it was one of the first times. At first, Master Chief really wasn't about it, and Big Band was down for whatever, so he was down to smoke. Now, because Master Chief was already intoxicated and everyone else was hitting it, he took a puff himself. But this stuff, to be honest, was pretty weak, so if we did get high, we were so drunk that we didn't really feel it. And with everyone else being drunk and maybe a little high, it was turning into a pretty late night. By about midnight, Master Chief and Jin had already retired, and Big Band was looking to do the same. By this time, I'd been awake for about 36 hours, and I was definitely feeling it. It was getting to the point where it was actually pretty painful. Big Band was telling me that he was ready to head in, and I told him I was going to be in a minute. I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit longer, put out the fire, and I'd be going in. Well, my dumbass falls asleep next to the fire, and thankfully Big Ben came back out to check on me, and I was passed out in the chair outside. I thank him, we put out the fire and crash. All in all, the night was mad good. I would love to have a session just like that again, but one thing happens in the morning. My mom goes to make us breakfast because she's a generous human. It was about 6 a.m. or so, and I was awake because I was probably dehydrated, and my mom starts to preheat the oven. My sister actually came back over the following morning because she wanted to give me a present for my birthday, and all of a sudden the oven heats up a bit and it starts to smoke. It smells like something's burning. Like, what the fuck? My mom starts freaking out. She opens the oven to a mildly burnt pizza box, and my mom isn't mad. She's just like, what the fuck? And Big Band just casually pipes up. He's like, "Oh, yeah, my bad, that was me." He then goes on to say this is kind of what he does with the family, so when the leftovers are done, he throws them in the oven for the next person. None of us have ever heard of that in our lives. And I say to him, like, "Bro, you come to my fucking house and pizza box my oven? What the hell, bro? Like, are you goddamn Italian hitman or something?" And we just all start laughing. And that was the start of a very important saying. Like, damn, man, you really rolled up and pizza boxed the oven on this one, buddy. Jesus Christ. We all definitely gave Big Ben some shit for this, but, you know, it's something I still think of to this day. The rest of the weekend goes on without a hitch. He doesn't proceed to pizza box my oven again in the morning. We actually double checked this time. And this man definitely still defends this to this day. Let me know if any of you out there actually do this, because I've never heard of this in my life. It's stories like these that definitely get me missing my friends from home. But that's actually going to do things. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to see more, check out the rest of the channel in the description. There's links to not just my channel, but my friends' channels as well. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Things are never going to fit, Caroline.
Yes, they will. Trust me.
They will never fit.
Have you finished complaining?
For now, this is top priority. What is the dot ye should? How can we get in contact with them? Anya, what do we know?
Very little, but I have some ideas.
Good. Anya, you take the lead on this. Blaskovich, whatever she needs, you help her find it, yeah?